Welcome back to another episode of The Basement Boys.
The Pods!
Episode 40. Swade, you have one job only. It's the only reason you're here. What is it? What is it? What is it?
The Sean Kemp episode. The Sean Kemp episode.
Nobody knows who he dunked on, right? Do we remember? No.
It was either him or Harrison Barnes, but we're going to go with the
I don't think Sean Kemp remembers who he dunked on.
He lost it and did the pointing thing. Episode 40, my boys. We actually are just coming off of a Game 7 that we thought was going to be super, super, super entertaining. That thing put us to sleep.
You thought.
I think nobody thought it was going to be a blowout. Come on now.
Had us listening to gossip upstairs. What are they talking about
we were gossiping at some point.
Going through life scenarios.
Real talk we had the game on mute at one point. We're not even trying to lie to people out there.
We did, yeah.
Before you go any further, please hit that subscribe button. We are about a couple hundred away from hitting 5,000 followers. So please make sure. Please make sure that you guys hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it. We got some great stuff for you guys. We're going to go over round 2 takeaways. Our man Swade was right about a lot of things. We got to give you some props moving forward.
We should start listening to him a lot more on these NBA topics.
And then we're going to do some predictions for the conference finals. Let's see if you still got the juice on who wins. We should start your money line L in basketball moving forward.
Man, I don't want to disrespect you.
No, man.
That's you.
Listen.
Basketball, okay.
Yeah, we'll do basketball.
Actually, I'm not taking that. No, that's a lot.
It's a lot of pressure.
That's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure.
It's a big responsibility, man.
Hattie's been, getting on me all week. He wants to talk about my boy Kobe Bryant. We're going to do that. We're going to talk about Haliburton. We got some football. We're going to talk about Brock Purdy, who just got paid a bag. We're going to talk about Ali Swade's favorite quarterback in Caleb Williams. So we're going to have a lot of fun. Let's get right into it. All right, boys, let's get right into it. Let's before we get into the conference finals predictions, we got to talk about round 2. Hell of a round 2. We had one snoozer. How many snoozers did we have?
One, the Indiana and Cleveland. One was
2 of them, and the Wolves and the
and
Warriors.
Yeah.
People are still mad at you that you put in Curry's name and said that Ant won. You gonna apologize to the people out there?
No, you played game 1, didn't you? I think you played game 1.
Okay.
Steph won that game, yeah?
Yeah, he had like 12 before he went down. So but yeah, let's get into our round 2 takeaways. Let's start off with the Pacers and the Cavs. You guys got anything that really, anything that stood out to you guys for the most part?
Yeah, just how big of a disappointment that Cavs team was, how much potential they had, how much hope a lot of people had for them to. Can you guys believe? Like a couple weeks ago, we were talking. Oh man, they're going to be the team that challenged Boston, bro. It's going to be crash course, Cleveland, Boston. And then, man, that's whoever wins that is going to win the NBA championship.
How cute was it? All year, it was, can't wait till Boston and the Cavs.
Yeah.
Crash course. Neither of them made it. And both of them got belt to ass.
Yeah, they sure did.
I would say the biggest takeaway from the Cavs and the Pacers, I was right about the Garland and the Mobley thing. I don't think they were ready to be a second and third option. For Mitchell, because I can't really walk away from Mitchell in that series and really blame him. The best player always gets to blame, but the other 2 guys just didn't show up. And even when they were healthy, because people are going to say, well, they weren't healthy, they didn't do it. They didn't give them enough, at least. So, they were hurt, but in the 2 games that they were healthy, like the games weren't close.
Yeah,
bro.
I'm not able to give them that excuse. Not in this series.
No.
I mean, they lost in 5, so it wasn't.
Yeah, you can't. Bro, they were by far the best team in the East, right? They had the best
record-wise, yes.
By far, and they were like you can't lose against. I know it's disrespectful to keep on saying that you can't lose to Indiana. You have better players. You probably just altogether you're a better team, and you can't lose.
Yeah. 1,000%.
Losing in the Eastern Conference Finals is different. You run into Boston, you run into New York in the Eastern Conference Finals, different story, but you can't lose to Indiana in the second
round. Are you ready to say you were wrong about Haliburton and small guardsmen?
Yes. Was wrong about Haliburton.
I don't think you're wrong about Haliburton. I just want to make that clear. But
You just like hearing when I'm wrong?
no, when he was saying like the small guard thing, like with Haliburton in there, I don't think he was wrong about Haliburton still, to be honest with you, or Brunson, or the small guards thing. Because we got a lot of flack for that. But
Yeah, I mean, the small
I
guard
still-
thing, bro. I
they
said
make deep runs. Small guards do tend to make deep runs, but it's just not a very common thing.
I said slim to none. Slim to none. That's all I got to say. SGA is not a small guard. Let me just make sure when he wins the championship, people are. No, he's definitely not. It's definitely not. It's definitely not. So we'll see. I would say though, Haliburton does deserve a little bit of respect though. All the players that called him overrated were definitely wrong, because this is 2 straight years, 2 straight Eastern Conference Finals, and he's given his team a chance to go to the finals. So we have to kind of recalculate and relook at our list when we have Haliburton at this point, because at the end of the day, how many best players in the team, 2 straight years, are taking their team to Eastern Conference Finals and winning series that everybody counted him out before. Nobody gave him a chance against Cleveland. I'll tell you guys, we sat on this set and we did not give him a chance. I gave him a little bit of a chance, but I didn't pick him.
Like my comp, if I had to compare this team dynamic to another team dynamic, would be, we said Steve Nash, like Haliburton's probably this era's Steve Nash. I don't think so. I think he's closer probably to like this era's. If I look at that 04 Pistons team and this team, it's like that type of team. Where like, yeah, Chauncey was Finals MVP and at that time considered probably the best player on the team, but it was a team. It was a team. I don't look at Haley like, oh man, he's dragging this Indiana team to the East Conference Finals. I don't look at him like that.
No.
I mean, he's not a world beater. He's averaging 18 and 9, which is great numbers, but it's not anything for me to be like, oh, you know what, Haley has to be in the top 10 now. It's not. He's not doing any of that. He's doing his job, which is great, but if I had to compare it to, obviously not as good. But just as a dynamic, like where I look, man, that team is really deep, bro, and like they mesh well together. That's how I look at them. I don't look at them as like, oh, Haliburton is in like East Conference Finals twice now. Yeah, not as good. I want to make that very clear. I'm not saying they're as good. I'm saying like the dynamic.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it, where it's like the 6th guy is just as important as the 2nd guy. That's how I look at it. So
The Steve Nash thing was also weird to me, because Steve Nash was a lot better of a half-court scorer than
he was.
Because you could say whatever you want. Steve Nash off that pick and roll, he was going to hit that mid-range jumper.
Steve Nash is better at everything than Haliburton.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
There's nothing that Haliburton does. Maybe rebounding the ball. That's the only thing he does better.
You know what's funny about Haliburton?
He's not a defender. He's not okay.
Yeah. So
we never called him Steve Nash.
But
We
I
said
gotta
of this
say
era.
though, there's people hate on him. Players in the league hate on him because they all call him overrated. Again, I don't get that, and he is the all-star and the best player on that team, and he's gotten his team to 2 straight.
Yeah, he deserves some respect from him.
Yeah, he deserves some respect, definitely. Let's jump off the Pacers and the Cavs. That was one of the snoozers. I'm gonna go to the other snoozer. I don't think we're really gonna spend a lot of time on it. Golden State and the Wolves. Do we really have much to say about that series whatsoever?
No, Stephen Curry is healthy. They win that series.
You truly believe that
In
to
my
this
heart,
point?
yes, bro. Yes, bro. I truly believe if Stephen Curry was healthy, we'd be looking at Warriors and OKC in the West Conference Finals, which at some point I think OKC was going to wipe the floor with Golden State either way, but I think they would have advanced, bro. Because those games were too close for comfort for me to be like, yeah, if Steph was playing, it would have been the same result. No, I don't believe it. I don't buy it. There was a few blowouts, but
Yeah.
you're talking about the most dynamic, arguably, player in the history of the league, dropping him in? No, bro, that's a completely different series, bro, to me.
Sway, do you think the same thing, though? You think if Steph was playing, do you think the Warriors would have beat the Wolves?
No, absolutely not. Even if he was still playing, I still would have think. The Timberwolves would have got him. They would have extended it maybe one more game, but they still would have got him. A bunch of dogs on the other team, man.
Dogs.
Bunch of dogs in every position, except maybe the center position, which you're like, I'm okay with you saying Gobert is not that, but bunch of dogs, bro. I still would have got it.
I lean on your end with that. I think Curry playing, I think the Wolves still win, but not this convincingly.
We're talking about a completely different team with Steph Curry.
I know.
Completely different offense.
Yeah,
it's
you're
a
right.
completely different team. Like, this is... I know the roster is the same, minus one guy.
No, it's
But
not
that
that one
Golden
guy.
State system is Steph Curry. Like, their offense is Steph Curry. It starts with him, it ends with him. So, yeah, man, I don't know. Steph plays...
So are you saying that basically the Wolves should thank their lucky stars that Anthony Edwards? So you're saying that the Wolves should thank they're lucky stars that Steph Curry wasn't playing because they were going to lose if they weren't in this.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm sure they were thinking the lucky stars when he got hurt. I'm sure they went hoping for it and praying for it, but I'm sure when it did, it was a little bit of a sigh of relief.
Oh, it definitely was. Because that first game looked completely different with Steph in there. I mean,
Yeah.
you got to realize, bro, the Warriors went from thinking we're going to get most of our scoring from Steph and Jimmy Butler to now I need most of my scoring from Jimmy Butler and Kuminga, the guy who was not touching the floor when Curry was playing. So,
Yes.
yeah. All right.
And you tire out guys like Ant a little bit more on the defensive side now.
Having to run
It
around.
changes the entire game.
Yeah. Julius Randle,
Wow.
what got into you? You seen my Would You Rather with AR, and you took that personally.
You know what got into him? I think this is the first time in his career he's played competitive ball, though, too. I can't remember him ever, unless I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me. But I don't remember him ever playing like on a team where they had a chance to win. Am I wrong? Pelicans, New York,
Knicks.
LA. I don't. But he was hurt. We can't count that against
He,
him.
this system fits him too. From what they're kind of asking him to do, it fits him. And sometimes you just need to change the scenery.
They asked him to be ball dominant. They asked him to create.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The Knicks didn't. Yeah.
He sure is.
The Knicks didn't need that, but the Minnesota needed it because they don't want Ant to have the ball 24/7. Sometimes it's a change of scenery. Sometimes a player just needs a different change of scenery. Sometimes something a little bit different just turns you into that Julius freaking.
He's always been an underrated passer, too.
Yeah.
Underrated playmaker. We'll see.
I'm gonna say both. I stand on both. This is one of those that don't have a loser.
Both for now. If they play each other in the finals and one outplays the other, we know who won the trade.
But I have a question for you though. They're both still winners because the trade both got them to the finals.
You're right. The logic is correct, but when you're in
I
the
know,
moment
yeah.
and you see that, you're like, man, they won
when
the
we're
trade,
in the
bro.
finals with the Wolves and the Knicks, and like Randall has like 25 and 10, and Cat has like 15 and 7. Oh
Yeah.
my God! And
I could see one of them winning Finals MVP in this series, just like Randall more so than Cat. But like, yeah, I could easily see Randall winning Finals MVP. Bro.
he goes crazy enough.
Easily, yes, bro, easily. Because if we did the MVP of that team up until this point, it's arguable, it's debatable. Yeah, bro. If we did like a playoff MVP, it's arguable.
They're gonna
bro.
need Ant to play like the best player to win that.
In the LA series, he was the best player. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I don't care what the box score says. He was the best player in that series.
But in the finals, they're gonna need Ant to,
Definitely.
go crazy.
Because of that boy Brunson, if he's in there. Yeah, I'm sure.
So wait, right now? If you had to put your list of what you guys want to see the finals matchup be, what's your number one that you want to see? Knicks and Wolves.
I'm going OKC, New York, number one. Number two would be Knicks and Wolves.
I do want to see OKC Knicks first, and then I would be very happy with it. No, I just feel like I get the best player out of each conference.
It's still standing, yeah.
You know what I mean? That's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah.
But the storyline with the Knicks and the Wolves
Be
is
nuts.
definitely better. If
Either matchup feeds families.
yeah, I do not want to see. No disrespect to the Indiana Pacers. I don't want to see Indiana Pacers.
No,
in the
all
championship.
disrespect. No, I don't want to see you guys in the finals. I don't want to see Indiana.
Come on, boys.
I don't think Indiana natives want to see the Pacers.
Are we going to add another fan base to hate us? Because right now Philadelphia hates us. Are we going to add Indiana on the second
Who?
with us? Philadelphia.
Who?
Oh, man. Let's go into the more interesting series by far. One wasn't that long of a series, but I think was probably one of the most shocking series of the past 2 years on how it went. It was, actually. Knicks and the Boston Celtics. Obviously, the fucking Knickerbockers went in there and won.
Thank God.
Thank you so much to New York Knicks, man.
Yeah, they made a fan out of me, man. I ain't gonna hold you, bro.
Yep, you will always be here. Finally got rid of those overrated Boston Celtics.
I was legitimately, on my feet yelling and cheering for New York, bro.
People would have thought you're from New York.
Legitimately, bro. Like, man, that was one of the most satisfying moments I've ever seen.
I'm gonna give you some credit though. Yeah.
Yeah, you will get it.
You know what? Because we
I called it in the beginning of the season.
you've been talking about
If
them.
that was me and you, would we have gotten credit though?
Yeah, I would have made it a way to get some credit out of it.
But I would have given you the credit. You would have pushed.
You would have taken the credit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I will
agree.
give you the credit. I tried last episode to get you to pick the Knicks.
That was all on me. I should have never changed my mind, man. I was I picked them. I knew they're gonna be something special, and they're doing something special.
I tried, bro.
You did.
I tried to keep you, man.
You did, and that was on me. Man, that team's going to the finals, man.
Anything change for you guys? Any opinions on anybody change in the Celtics and the Boston series at all?
Yeah, I seen a video online that's been circulating of like as soon as New York signed Brunson was going after him, and everybody was like, all the TV talking heads were like, "This is the worst sweepstakes ever. You went paid $30 million to a guy who might not be your second best player on a championship run." And yeah, man, Brunson wins the NBA championship. It's going to be hard to keep him out of like the top 6 in the league, bro, at this point, because these are now 2 straight deep playoff runs. Last year was a legitimate carry job. He carried them to the East Conference Finals. This year, in moments he's carrying them, but this team is a lot deeper than last year, obviously, and they're healthier. But he is 1, and there's a clear gap between 1 and 2 on that team. It's the Jalen Brunson show, bro. And again, if he's East Conference Finals and follows it up with an NBA championship or even a Finals appearance, like what point guard other than Luka Doncic are you going to sit there and tell me, yeah, he's better than Brunson? And like, what argument are you going to have at this point? Is he playing on a super team or like a bunch of Hall of Famers around him? Like he's, it's a level team. It's a balanced team, just like a lot of teams in the league. And no, bro, he's top 6 in the league if he gets to the finals. To me, like top 6 or 7, easy, bro. Like he passes Tatum. Doesn't he pass Tatum in your eyes?
I would have to. I mean, he just went up against him and he beat him. I would have to.
Right? Am I off base there? Like he has to pass someone like Joel Embiid, right? He would have to, at this point.
Listen,
Did
man.
he beat Joel last year in the playoffs? Am I wrong?
No.
Did they play Philly in the playoffs? They did play Philly in the playoffs.
They didn't go to the Eastern Conference Championship last year.
Did they play Philly last year in the playoffs?
No, we're talking about New York.
Yes,
did
did New York play Philly last year in the playoffs? Can you check that for me?
But did the Knicks make the finals?
I was wrong. They made the second round.
Yeah.
Was it against? Who was it against?
But Haley got injured at the end of. I'm sorry. Brunson got injured.
Yeah, he did
at the end of that year. He hurt his hand.
Oh, I remember him.
He broke his
playing
hand.
Philly last year.
Yeah.
What am I blanking on? Either way,
Yeah.
like deep playoff runs, deepish playoff. You have to. I have to put him top 6 or 7 in the league if he makes it to the finals.
Yeah.
If he wins one, some uncomfortable conversations have to be had.
Yeah, I agree with you, man.
Yeah.
It's funny. You said it right in the nose. Sometimes
They played Philly, right? I know I wasn't tripping, bro.
what you wish for, like New York Knicks fans were wishing for D. Mitch, and D. Mitch was supposed to go to the Knicks, and they got Brunson.
Yeah.
But look at it now. D. Mitch didn't get out the second round, and Brunson is taking his team to an Eastern Conference Finals. So,
Yes.
whatever you wish for.
Yes. Absolutely.
I would say my biggest takeaway from that series is the Boston Celtics are a bunch of chokes, and this is one of the biggest letdowns of like the last decade, because they by far have one of the deepest teams in the league, and everybody's expecting a repeat from them. And you guys can all bring up that Jason Tatum got injured. They were down 3-1 when Jason Tatum got injured, and they lost that game. So don't blame it on injuries.
And they were down like 8.
Yeah, the game was over, right? But another thing that really comes to center, another thing that was circling on the internet this week, like clutch points. They're a really big, like a big sports media out there. Clutch Points put up a post about Jason Tatum saying, why is there so much hate behind a guy like Jason Tatum? And they showed all their accolades. And he's got accolades next to guys like Kobe and, guys next to LeBron and some of the runs that he's made. And there's no hate behind the Jason Tatum thing. And I know it's probably a touchy subject right now because he just tore his Achilles. But blame has to fall on Jason Tatum. Because, again, numbers don't lie at the end of the day. Jason Tatum has proved at this point that when it comes to the playoffs, he isn't a playoff riser. We see efficiency go down. We see sometimes his sidekick play better than him, and a guy like Jaylen Brown, his sidekick winning finals MVP over him. So all of us that wanted to turn the Boston Celtics into a dynasty, it's impossible to be a dynasty or a repeat champion when your best player, who Jason Tatum is very inconsistent in the playoffs. So it's not hate, it's just facts. It's right there, right in front of us. So when people don't want to put him above guys like Joker or Giannis or SGA now or Luka, it's because those guys are playoff risers. In the playoffs, we see the best from them. We usually see the best from them. We don't always see the best from Jason Tatum. We just don't. Am I wrong? Am I reaching?
No, I don't think so. A lot of his individual accolades, I know this is going to sound funny, but they're team awards for him.
Exactly.
Because his team is always so deep. They always have such a good record. And the guy puts up numbers in the regular
He's
season.
good.
So, like, he's going to make first team
He's
All-NBA.
good.
He's going to have these types of accolades. But when it really matters, though, we see what Tatum does.
How many players do you guys know? Just real talk. Like now we have to talk about last year. How many players do you guys know who's the best player on the team, can completely not play at their best and be very, very inefficient? Like the run to the Eastern Conference Finals and the run to the finals, Jaylen Brown won the MVP and both, because you get an MVP
Eastern
award.
Conference Finals MVP and Finals MVP.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown won both of them. And by the way, I'm not trying to sit here and make Jaylen Brown a world beater and say I think he's,
But he was arguably better than Jason Tatum last year in the playoffs.
he was, it wasn't arguably, he was better in the playoffs. He was better in the playoffs, man.
Yeah.
And in the finals, Jason Tatum didn't do enough to completely separate himself. I think he should have won the finals MVP, but he didn't. Like, you got to win that award by basically making it undeniable that I was better than that other player.
And Jaylen Brown had moments in the fourth quarters where it was like, you know what, it has to be Jaylen Brown.
Right. So it's not hate about Jason Tatum. It's just nobody wants to bring this stuff up because he is a nice guy, and he's not like this alpha who puts himself out there. But it's not hate.
I don't think that's what it is, bro. I just think he's hidden. He's hidden behind team success. He's hidden behind team success because at some point, like if you try to tell someone, "Oh, you're overrated," he's overrated. The answer always is, man, he just came off of a championship. It's a team award. It's teams win championships. But it's like, we've gotten to a point in our sports culture where winning, it solves everything without putting a bunch of context around it. You know what I mean? Like, there's zero shot. There's no chance in the world where Jason Tatum is more valuable to his team than Jalen Brunson is to his Knicks. Doesn't exist. That world does not exist.
No.
It does not exist. And they played each other head up, and one guy, even when he struggled in the fourth quarters, he was him. And he's been him all year.
And you know what's funny
just better.
is, okay, we all acknowledge Jason Tatum's on this amazing team. Really, really good team. That should make it easier for him to go out there because there's less pressure on him as far as like a game plan, because you can't just load up on a guy like Jason Tatum to go out and put out these amazing stats and make it undeniable. Because I don't know about you, last year and this year, if he would have came out here and averaged 28, 7, and 7, and the efficiency was well, and they ran through it, I can't say a damn thing to this camera about Jason Tatum, but he doesn't do that. He leaves it up for debate.
Yeah. 1,000%. Which he has his flash in the pan moments in the playoffs, too. You told me he had like a 50-point game 7 or something, right?
Yes, I remember. It was against Miami, right? I remember that.
They lost that game, didn't they?
They won that game?
Because they lost the game 7 against Miami very recently. Like, the year Miami went to the finals.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But he has his flash in the pan moments, but no, I've been on this, this boat for a long time.
You've definitely been about that. We should have stayed on that, man. That was one that was wrong.
The guy came off a championship. At some point, even if he didn't play, even if he wasn't by far the best player on his team, I got to give him credit. I have to.
And out of respect to it,
Yeah.
And this was good on sports fans. In basketball, people are a lot smarter in basketball than their football fans are.
Yeah.
Nobody put Jason Tatum as the best player, the second best player in the league after he won the championship last year.
And everybody outside of Boston did it.
Yeah, nobody did it. Nobody did it like people do in football with a guy like Jalen Hurts.
In basketball, it's very obvious. So when your team is dominant, it's very obvious.
Yeah.
It's a very obvious thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah. This was the craziest series. It was a little bit of a letdown of a Game 7. Very, very huge letdown of a Game 7. We had OKC and we had Denver. We had two of the reigning MVPs going up against each other. I was telling people on TikTok Live yesterday, I was like, you know what they should do? They should do it like they do in WWE. They should put the MVP award above the stadium, just on a rope. Whoever wins takes it home.
A ladder match for the MVP trophy.
And whoever wins, they just you take it.
Something tells me Shea would have walked away with it anyways.
Yeah, he was walking away with it anyways. We waited for Game 7. We were excited, and it was a snooze fest. We started gossiping like little girls, actually, about life. we didn't even watch the game.
Thank you, Alex Caruso.
Yeah, it was out of
You have
hand.
Alex Caruso to thank for that, brother.
Is Dwight Howard no longer the Joker stopper? Is it Caruso now?
No, it just popped up on my feed recently. Man, Dwight did some damage on Jokic, bro.
You know what's
He did
crazy?
some damage,
It's
bro.
Caruso and Dwight were on that same Lakers
Yeah, they
team.
were.
Joker seen his worst two nightmares.
I'm not gonna take this too far off the rail, but that Lakers team is one of the most complete teams ever, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, they call it that Mickey Mouse. They call it that Mickey Mouse.
Oh, someone
That's
would say.
hating. That's hating.
Mr. Joker.
Suede, listen. Your boy, your favorite player in the world, Joker, lost. I need to hear your thoughts on this game. I need to hear your thoughts about Joker after this series, man.
Few episodes ago, I said, not episodes, I think we said it like off camera. Who was the best player, like the guard Jokic? And boy, we found that out this game 7. It was Joey Caruso, brother. Oh, no, Alex Caruso. Who's Joey Caruso?
This guy, what, you been watching?
Who's
You been
Joey
watching The
Caruso?
Sopranos or something out there?
Joey Caruso. No, that's from Everybody Hates Chris. Joey Caruso.
Joey, yeah.
Alex Caruso, man. They had a great scheme in stopping that overrated guy. Yeah,
Jeez.
Yeah.
Joker's overrated to you now.
Yeah, man, he is. I don't
Hey,
like
relax,
his game.
man.
I don't like his game. I don't like anything that he does. He shouldn't be on top of the paint like that, and it showed. Lost one in one of the biggest games, probably one of the biggest games of his career, in the Game 7, to go to the Western Conference Finals. I don't know, man. Shea proved that he was the better player. He had the better stats in Game 7. When it mattered, he was the better player. And it was beautiful. Beautiful to watch.
I'll say this. I'm not mad that Denver lost the game. I'm really, really not. I thought Denver should have won that series. I'm sorry. Whoa. I'm not mad that Denver lost the game because I thought OKC should have won that series. I thought they were the better team. But when you get to a Game 7, I don't like when my superstar player, my all-decade, all-world player, because I don't care what anybody says, he lost the game. He's still one of those. He's one of those guys, man. It's just undeniable, right? I don't like when they go out like that. And people will look at the stat line and be like, oh, he had a pretty good game. I mean, I think he had 1 or 2 shot attempts in the whole second half, right? And, yeah. And, listen, OKC had a freaking great game plan on him, but game plans never stop all-time greats. I don't care if you have the greatest schemes in the world. I don't care if you have the greatest defenders. All-time greats make it work, and they have really good games. So I'm very, very disappointed in Joker and what he did in this game. I think even if he would have had his triple-double with 35, 10, and 12, I think they were still going to lose that game. But it's a very bad look on him. It was a very, very bad look on him. And that's why I'm not here. I'm not making any excuses for him. He had a bad game. And, when we talk about all-time greats and stuff like that, the thing that separates you and makes you those top 5 greatest of all time and makes you undeniable and when you want to bring up a guy like Joker versus Shaq, like these are the type of games that do it. Believe it or not, they just really, really do. Now, I will argue with anybody that tries to, you should never after one game push somebody all the way down and say this guy's freaking trash. And you shouldn't in this, in a second round after a Game 7 say this guy's the greatest thing in the world. But he deserves a little bit of criticism. I would say a lot of criticism after this game. I really do believe that. And I think this is really, really elevated. Shy, SGA deserves a lot of credit. He validated his MVP award. He's the MVP. I think they're the favorites to win the championship. That's not a hot take or anything like that. I think OKC is going to win the championship. And we're going to have a lot of different discussions when we talk about our ranking going into next year. But don't be an ignorant fan and push Joker down into oblivious. Like that would just be my thing. But criticize him. Criticize him. Definitely criticize him. Nasty.
I don't like his game, okay, but I won't.
Nasty work. Nasty work. I'd rather you go out, and maybe this is an issue with big men because you can't just bring the ball down the floor. And the issue sometimes with being an all-time big man is you can sometimes neutralize, Sometimes you could put pressure on the ball handlers and make it hard to do an entry pass. And sometimes, when you can't take a step back 3 on people, that's why the big man is sometimes a little bit handcuffed. But, man, listen, you say it all the time. let's not make excuses for all time for these players. If we didn't do it for anybody else, we shouldn't do it for him.
Right. One of the best bigs that's ever played.
Yeah.
Doesn't change the fact that he's one of the best bigs that's ever played. My issue with the OKC and Denver series is this. We had this conversation. I don't think you completely agree with me, but I don't think you completely disagree either. Super teams are gone. For this year, at least, there's no super teams in the NBA. The majority of these teams are well-balanced. If you want proof, they just were at a Game 7. It ain't like one team lost in 5 or one team lost in 4 and a guy had an all-time great series and still lost in 5. This ain't LeBron in 2018. It's not one of those things. If I now have to walk in. Now, if you ask me to give you my rankings for the best players in the league, I have to put SGA ahead of Joker now. I have to. Because I watched them on the same court when the chips were on the table, and you cannot deny, and nobody's going to be able to convince me, that Shai wasn't the most dominant player in that series and on the court when it mattered the most too. You can't. You just can't. It's undeniable. Joker is a more skilled basketball player than Shai. He is a more skilled basketball player. He's capable of doing more things on the court than Shai is. But when I look up in this series, the final stats haven't come out yet. But he had 35 and Jokic had 20. So it looks like Shai is going to have more points in this series. And Jokic, who's, the great aspect of his game, we're like, this is why we love Jokic's passing. Looks like Shai is going to have more assists this series. And it looks like he's going to have more fourth quarter points this series. And it looks like he was the better defender in this series. And it looks like when it mattered most, one guy had 20 with one shot in the second half and the other guy had 35. If that's not enough for us to sit down and be like, all right, these two guys are on the, even in the same realm of each other, even walking into the season. Like one guy was third or fourth, one guy was first or second, wherever you want to put him. We're in the same realm anyways. We saw them play each other. We saw J-Dub not have a great series. We saw Chet not have a great series. We saw Jamal Murray have a regular playoff Jamal Murray. Thank you, man. Playoff J. We saw Aaron Gordon have a pretty good series. Last game, obviously, he was kind of hurt, but we saw him have a good series. I can't give the excuse to Jokic, you just didn't have enough. Or, oh my God, OKC was this fucking Hall of Fame super team. They were a very well-balanced team. They're a really good team. They're deep. But the difference between when we take top 10 guys is they win series they're not supposed to win. Every single one of them has won a series they weren't supposed to win. If you're just winning series you're only supposed to win,
then what are you?
You're a great player. He's a great player. But, man, I have to put Shai ahead of Joker for now. Because if we don't do that, what the hell is the point of playing in these playoffs? What the hell is the point of matching up? And what the hell is the point of even going through the trouble? If we're not going to walk away and say, man, yeah, this team was better, this guy was better, and when it mattered most, because this is the playoffs, it ain't one game. It was 7-game sample size, bro, when it mattered most. If we're walking away and not saying, yeah, bro, this guy obviously outplayed the other guy, bro, and the teams were obviously pretty matched up pretty well, bro, so what do we do with that now? If we're not sliding rankings, what the hell is the point of playing these playoffs? What's the point of it?
Don't disagree.
Scrap it, bro. Just scrap it.
I know
if we're gonna walk away with Tatum still being better than Brunson, just scrap the playoffs, bro. Scrap it. There ain't no point.
I know you want me to disagree with you, but I'm not going to.
There ain't no point, bro. Like I have to. Now, to me, the rankings are. It should be SGA first. I'm holding on to Giannis still because that's an injury thing. That I haven't seen Giannis and SGA on the same court, but it's something in my heart of heart tells me Giannis outplays SGA in a playoff series with even teams. For me, I may be very completely wrong. And we may be looking at an all-time great in the face, and we just want to deny it. But to me, with Giannis hurt, SGA, I think, wins a championship this year, and I think he solidified himself as the best player in the NBA. Me. He had before this game, he was averaging in this series
Big
28,
dog.
7, and 7.
No lie, you've been right about a couple things that we denied for a while.
Yeah.
You were right about the Knicks for a long time, and you were right about SGA.
He had a LeBron-esque series this year against Jokic.
Yeah.
He had LeBron numbers. He was at 28, 7, and 7 before the 35 in this game 7.
Yeah.
The final numbers aren't even finalized yet. He had a LeBron James series this year.
I'll say...
I can't, bro. I can't do it.
I'll say something about this, right?
Is him and Ant even a conversation right now?
No, not today.
It can't be a conversation, bro.
But now, here's what I would ask you, though.
Ask me. And I still think Jokic will be a top 10 player of all time. I'm just putting that out there as well.
This series, to me, was more about I definitely have to elevate SGA
Yeah.
than I am gonna push down Joker. I mean, we all know what Joker is at the end of the day, but it's opened my eyes on SGA. It absolutely has. It's opened up my eyes on he's an all-time talent. And if he starts winning and he starts racking up some MVPs, we got to start looking at him as one of the better guards that we've seen.
Ever.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We have to do that. He has to accomplish that. He has to get the MVPs. He has to make multiple deep runs. We'll see where that goes.
If we start listing the greatest shooting guards that's ever played the game, take out accolades, take out rings, take out everything. If we just
He's
start
a
saying
shooting-
at their peak as a shooting guard, because to me he's a shooting guard. That's what he is.
He plays point guard.
I know, but he's a shooting guard. That's Shea, bro. To me, like when you see him play, his play style is closer to Kobe than it is to Jason Kidd, for example. If I see them play, bro, and I'm just looking at shooting guards I've ever seen, who's better than him? Mike, Kobe, Wade? Then who else? The guy just averaged, what did he average, 32, 31? This is his third straight season averaging 30, bro.
37 and
Yeah, man.
Five.
Yeah, bro, and like on deep playoff runs. I don't know, bro. As the guy.
I would.
As the guy, not
I
even
would-
question.
No.
No,
Harden-
bro. Shea is better than Harden is. Shea right now is better than Harden's ever been, bro. Yes, man. Yes, bro. Like they're the favorites to win the NBA championship, guys. Their second best player is Jalen Williams.
Yeah. I would.
Sometimes I feel like we go overboard and we say, "Man, this OKC team, bro. Like, yeah, hey, they're nice. They're a nice team. They're a nice team. They're not Hall of Famers,
No,
bro.
they're a good team. They're a really good team, and he's a big reason on why.
Yes.
We got to remember, man. Like now that we're not in the super team era. Your best player is going to be a big reason on why you're as good as you are,
Yes.
right? And everybody else is going to be the compliments and stuff like
Yes.
that. Like I don't agree on the take of your best. The all-time greats can't hide. It's the GMs can't hide anymore. You can't hide on just putting together a couple of good players and just letting them roll the ball out there and do what it is. I would say it's time this series and SGA going straight up against the Joker and doing what he did, and he did outplay the Joker. It's time to put him in the class of the all-time great point guards or shooting guards, whatever you compare him, whatever you think he is.
Yeah.
And it's time to take him seriously as one of the best players in the league.
Yeah.
Because you know what? I'm sorry. You're a Giannis lover. I am too, but it's not fair. He just beat the Joker, and Giannis hasn't been in the Eastern Conference Finals in a
good with
while.
that.
We gotta both push him down.
I'm good with that. Then SGA is the best player in the NBA. I'm
the
good
real
with
talk.
that.
We gotta walk away. And we gotta.
I'm good
do
with
it.
that.
Yeah, and guess what? With those three guys, I bet you and Luka maybe too. They'll be ping ponging off each other for a really long
Let's
time.
see.
Yeah,
Because this SGA kid,
yeah, I know.
is so real, bro.
I know. Let's stick away from round two takeaways and everything like that. I gotta get us right into our conference finals, and now it's time to put your words as men on the line. It's time to predict the series. We're gonna start off with what I think is probably the most interesting series of both. It's gonna be Minnesota and OKC. Right? Minnesota and OKC. Where are you guys going? Who you got?
I'm going OKC, man. And I think it. I want to say 5 so bad, but I don't have the gall to do it. So I'm gonna say 6. I'm gonna say OKC in 6. I think they're a deeper team. I think the best player in the series is on OKC's side. I think they're better defensively, even though Minnesota is really good defensively. I think they're better defensively. I think they're better at shooting the ball. I think they have more spacing on that team. And I think at the top, the head of the snake, which we've seen in this playoffs, the better players are winning the series. I'm going with Shea. Going with Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
You're the money man.
even though I would love to see OKC and Shea, I'm still leaning Minnesota.
Damn.
I think they are still they got more dog in them. If not more, a little bit more than them. I think Ant is going to have a great series. He hasn't been lighting up the stat sheet this past series. I'm going Minnesota.
Man, this one's a tough one for me, man. It really, really is, because when you look at both teams, they somewhat kind of play the same way, right? I think I'm going to go with OKC in this series in 6 or 7, right? And the reason why I'm doing that is because it's undeniable at this point. If anybody's waiting around for SGA to have a bad series, it ain't going to happen. My man's going to have a great series. I think he's more consistent than Ant right now, game in, game out. That really stands with me. And I think OKC, with their defensive pressure, is going to be able to do a better job at neutralizing Randall. I don't think they're going to let Randall go ravage like that, right? And they have a lot more bodies to throw at him and Chet. They could even try to put J-Dub on him. I just think that they're better defensively to be able to handle Julius Randle. But I will say this, though, because we're talking a lot about, this guy's beating that guy in the playoffs, and we got to put him over. If Ant does go into that series, though, Hetty, if Ant goes into that series and he outplays SGA and he beats him, yeah, then we got to look at Ant being the best player in the league.
Yes.
Like, we have to do it.
Yes, and everything I just said is completely wrong. I totally agree.
Yeah,
yes.
Because at the end of the day, they both play damn near the same position. They're both playing on similar teams at the end of the day. And I would say another thing, Ant is like 5 years younger than SGA. So he'd be doing it a lot earlier in his career against a guy who's like almost 28 now.
Yeah.
Right? So Ant has a chance to stamp himself, man. He really, really does. I just don't think that I don't know if he's consistent enough on a game in, game out basis. That's something that people don't talk about Ant a lot. He's not consistent game in, game out. He gives you a lot of bad games sometimes.
So, man, if anything, this playoffs has been very unpredictable, and we don't know what's going to happen.
Some of it is unpredictable. Some of it is most NBA fans have gotten so used to a certain structure in the NBA and certain way that the NBA goes that they're still carrying that onto a new era. And I think this year was the beginning of hey, man, it's a different league now. So maybe we have to look at things a little bit differently.
Yes.
So that's the way. I think it's a little bit of both. It's unpredictability and that. But again, this is why I've been enjoying the no super team thing. You can't run. You can't hide. We got a balanced team.
Yes, sir.
You got what you got. I got the same thing here. Show me.
Yes, sir.
I will say, though,
Show me.
Rudy Gobert is going to have a big imprint on this series, though.
Sure.
If he could control the paint, and he could be a great rim protector like he is. OKC, I feel like they're a three-point shooting team, but if you can get them to take a lot of bad three-point shots and not take it to the rim as much, I think that's going to be a big thing in this series.
Yeah.
But man, you know what? Ant he shows his best when the lights are brightest, man. Let's see.
I mean, right back at you. Because he's arguably not even the best rim protector in the series. That's why I lean OKC.
But Chet.
Yeah. So
They may be able to get him out the paint.
Yeah, bro. Like the better defenders are on OKC side. The better shooters are on OKC side. The best player on the court is on OKC side. I'm willing to be completely wrong about this. Completely wrong. But just as basketball players and a basketball team, OKC that pick makes more sense to go with. If you're going Minnesota, you're going off of potential. If we're just going based off of what we just saw, just what we're seeing in front of our eyes, I have to go OKC. I have to, bro.
I will say
Very
this.
slight on everything. Like with the defending, slightly better than them.
Slightly better.
Shooting, slightly better than them.
Yes. But as of right now,
I would say OKC is definitely a better shoot.
Yeah.
But I will say this, though. J-Dub,
production-wise,
not by miles. Though.
Potentially,
J-Dub,
Production-wise, yes.
J-Dub is not going to be able to be a no-show in some of these games and still get away with OKC winning the series. That's what I would say. Some of these games, because I feel like they're gonna need J-Dub they're gonna need a good series from him, man.
They are. I don't think he had a terrible series against Denver. I think he could.
But they real talk should have took out Denver in 6. If he just has a normal, game 6, we're not even probably talking about that snooze fest of a game 7.
I think you're expecting either one of Chet or J-Dub to shit the bed in the series, and I just don't think it's a reality that both of them are going to shit the bed. That's what I think. I think one will carry the other if one struggles in the series, and I think that's enough to beat Minnesota because I'm going to say, it's not to say it's an overreaction at this point is unfair, but there is Like SGA is clearly better than Ant.
Today, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, today.
Today, yeah.
Like it's what's the argument in reality? Like he's not a better scorer. He's not a better passer. He's not a better defender.
They real
all
talk play the
around.
same
Like,
though.
But one guy's winning MVPs and one guy's averaging
Yeah.
32 and one, you know what I mean? Like I don't think
One
it's
guy's a lot more developed right now.
a lot more developed, a lot more, yes.
But I'll have to come and
cured,
talk
but-
to you after
again.
this.
Yes, I could be.
I will talk to you after this series.
That's the beauty
Yeah.
of this playoffs.
Yep.
Is yes, if you guys are both matched up and one guy has a better roster than the other, or one guy has the same roster as the other, then you can't hide. Sorry. You cannot hide. You can't give me the excuse of, oh, he had 4 Hall of Famers and I had 1 and I had 35 and I still lost. You can't give me that. You can't. Sorry. Especially in fourth quarters nowadays. But the beautiful thing about balanced teams is when these fourth quarters are tight, it ain't like these teams have 3 closers like they used to.
Nope.
It's you versus me, bro.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Like Ant is definitely the closer on that team, and Shea is definitely the closer on his. Show me.
Yeah.
Show me, bro.
All right. Flip
So-
side. Flip side. East Conference Finals. Knicks and Pacers, baby. What are we talking? We're talking like an old-fashioned rivalry coming back to.
Would again willing to be extremely wrong, and you could clip this. I think it's a 5-er. I think it's a 5-er. I think it's a 5-game series. I keep going back in my head, back and forth, 5-6, but I think I'm gonna stick with my gut and say 5 games. New York. New York will be in the NBA Finals, and Broadway is gonna burn down. So that's what I think.
Oh, you didn't even gotta ask me, man. You already know my answer.
Mr.
You already
New
know
York
my
over
answer.
here.
I just don't think it's gonna be 5. I think it's gonna be either 6 or 7. I think Cali pushes them at least one more game more than at least 6. At least.
I just think there's so much more talent. On
I
the
know.
bro. Top at the top. Bro. There's so much more talent.
I mean, we said that with
the
the Cleveland series, and that was a snooze
did.
fest.
We sure
You know what I'm
did.
saying?
But those guys are chokes. New York
Man,
doesn't have a
do
choke
we
in
gotta-
their body, bro.
We're gonna go another series with disrespecting the Indiana Pacers because I am gonna go with the New York Knicks. I won't go 5. I'll go 6 or 7. It won't really matter if it's 5 or 6 at the end of the day. I'm going with the Knicks. Again, I think that. I mean, we've been talking about this all week about the Knicks and the Pacers, right? It's going to come down to who can force the other team to play their style. If the Knicks can just keep it in a half-court setting by not turning the ball over and having the Pacers do this run-and-gun thing, then, yeah, I think the Knicks will dominate them in the half-court because I don't know where they're going to find the offensive production with all the wings and the defenders that the Knicks have. But if the Knicks are sloppy, they will get ran out of the gym against the Pacers.
True.
They will get ran out of the gym because they cannot run with the Pacers. They cannot run with the Pacers. I'm going to do that right now. So I'm going to go with the Knicks, but my mind may change after a game or 2.
No, I don't. Even if Indy takes one in New York, I don't think that will
It
change.
depends on it just depends on what happens in these series. But I'm going to go with the Knicks. I'll go with the Knicks in 6.
We do know for sure, though, we're going to be crowned a new champion, and all of the players, all of the stars are not going to have a chip.
That is cool.
That's really, really
Somebody's
cool.
going to build a
give
new
it up.
story.
First.
Somebody's going to build a new story.
Yes.
So who are we today? Real quick, who you guys got winning the championship with all the teams that are left? Who-
OKC. I got OKC winning the title.
I got the Knicks.
You got the Knicks?
I have the Knicks.
I'm going with OKC. I think whoever they end up with against in the East, they're going to end up beating them.
Man, those fourth quarters with Brunson and Shea are going to be nuts.
Yes, they sure
It's going to be a lot of
They are going to be
back and
nuts,
forth.
bro.
It's a lot of back and forth.
If
But
they
you
both
know,
get there.
you know who got you know who the OKC has? They have Caruso, baby. Going to put him right on Brunson.
They match up very well with New York.
Yeah.
And New York matches up well with OKC.
Yeah.
It'll be a fun match.
It's gonna be a fun-
If they both get there. If Minnesota or Indiana don't win. I
Fun,
really
fun
hope
series.
Indiana does not win, man.
Yeah,
I really hope
yeah.
Indiana's not in
Yeah,
the
I
NBA
don't think
Finals,
they
man.
will. I don't.
Really,
I can't.
Hey, Adam Silver, step in or something. Be
Yeah.
like, hey, we got to play 9.
They've
It's
already
actually-
made it
It's
happen.
actually best of 9 now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Let's stick on one of the better players in the Eastern Conference Finals, Mr. Haliburton. Right?
Tyrese.
Yeah, we're going to do a Would You Rather with them. You guys ready?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Born.
We're going to do a Would You Rather with Tyrese Haliburton. First person. Trae Young.
Going Trey.
Trae Young.
Going Trey, man.
Yeah.
Same passing metrics. One guy doubles him up in scoring. I have to go Trey, bro.
I'm going to go with Trae Young also. I think he's
It's
a
not
better
triples.
player.
Okay.
Yeah. Brunson.
I'm going
wow.
Jalen Brunson, and this is a disrespectful question. I have nothing more to say about that.
Honestly, yeah, Brunson, without a doubt.
Brunson's proved
Please
he's probably
move on.
one of the best
5,
players in
6
this
players
league.
in the league.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one of the
bro.
top 5 players. Jamal Murray.
In the playoffs, I'm going Jamal Murray.
Okay, I'm talking about who's a better player just all around. Year in, year out. Who you taking?
I'm thinking Tyrese.
Tyrese is a better player year in, year out. But I'm being so serious. So this is This is again game from you. I'm going Jamal Murray in the playoffs.
I'm gonna go Jamal Murray.
It's hard to overlook a 10 extra points, bro.
Honestly, I'm taking Jamal Murray in the playoffs over anybody you ever name.
I'm gonna go Jamal Murray just because I don't think that Denver would lose a lot on the scoring size and in the half court by trading Tyrese for Jamal. De'Aaron Fox.
I'm taking Foxy. I'm taking De'Aaron Fox.
I'm going De'Aaron Fox. I have to go De'Aaron Fox.
I'm gonna have to go with De'Aaron Fox also. I just think he's just better all around. Cade.
Disrespectful, how do you want to hear it? This is Cade. This is not
I'm
even,
taking Cade as well.
not even a question.
Cade. LaMelo.
I think LaMelo Ball is a better basketball player than Tyrese Haliburton, bro. I'm going LaMelo, bro. Just honestly.
He's been injured, but I'm taking LaMelo Ball.
Man, you just get the entertainment factor. You get better scoring ability, much better scoring ability, bro. You still get some of the passing that you get from Tyrese. None of them can guard a cone. I have to go LaMelo on this one, bro. Especially off potential. I have to go.
I'm gonna go. Listen, I'm gonna go with Haliburton today, because I just think Haliburton does more that contributes to winning today, right? Because I real talk don't know what LaMelo's about right now. He's one of the most talented players we got in the league, but do we even know if anything he does contributes to winning just yet?
Because I mean, his third best player is Mark Williams, bro.
You know,
Or Miles Bridges. You know what I mean? His second best player is Brandon.
So
Miller.
damn, bro, I just named all these point guards. Like, bro, what do we do with a guy like Haliburton on a ranking?
Told you, he's Chauncey Billups. Was Chauncey Billups ever a top 5 point guard in the league? No.
No.
Did you want to see him in the playoffs?
But this is not.
No.
This is not. Hey, this is not even top 5 though. Like, we're not even talking about he's not even a top 10 guy. I just named you guys 6 or 7 people.
He's top 10.
I mean, guys, I love him. He's a great player, bro. We're talking about a guy that averages 18 and 9, bro, in the playoffs. He ain't this world beater, bro. He ain't this. If you placed him in OKC, real talk, where would he rank on OKC as a player? Would he be 3rd or 4th? Maybe 3rd, bro. And same thing in Minnesota. Where would he rank as a player?
Some nights he
Third?
could. Some nights he could
You
look.
got to see how they play together, though.
Yeah.
He'd be the 3rd best player in Minnesota. Looking
Second.
at what Randall is doing right now,
yeah.
no, Randall today in these playoffs has been better than Haliburton, bro.
So is he?
I don't know, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know. Am I wrong about that?
No,
Has Randall
no.
not been better than Haliburton in these playoffs?
I will take it back.
As an individual player.
No, he hasn't. No, you're right.
He's been better, bro.
He's been better, so much better. I
Two-way.
will take it back. He's not that overrated, though. I wouldn't say
He's not overrated.
He's not overrated.
Who?
though.
Haliburton has never
I'll
been.
take
No,
I never
I don't
thought he
get
was
the
overrated.
I don't get the overrated.
Because
thing.
who's like saying Haliburton is this guy where it's like he's
he's a
all-time
top
great.
10 player. Or
I
even
never
a top
understood it.
15. Like nobody's
He's kind of underrated if you think about it.
He is underrated. Again, man, Haliburton has his team in 2 straight Eastern Conference Finals.
Was
man.
it the USA team thing? Probably the nod.
Could have been, man, but maybe maybe the type of play style he plays, he runs that engine in Indiana. I'll tell you that much. When they're running and gunning, he's making all the right plays, man.
True.
And I think I seen a stat. Sometimes you can't always trust everything you see out there, but he's a very clutch player also.
Yeah.
He's a very clutch player too.
I mean, eye test. Yeah, he is a clutch player.
Yeah.
But like, I know he's not better, obviously. But I mean, Derek White was getting minutes over him on the USA team,
Yeah. No, I get that.
and they play the same position.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
The US
and the Olympics is a run and gun game.
Yeah.
So there's definitely holes. There's holes in his game.
It's just Haliburton has, like you said, the holes. The limitations are glaring.
Not yet, but they will be if he loses this series.
Yeah.
And then next year you walk in with expectation on Indiana, and then show me.
Boom. Yeah.
show me.
You're right.
Then you're like, hey, bro, you're averaging 18 a game.
But as of today, we
Beast.
gotta give him some credit.
Beast.
2 Eastern Conference Finals. He's widely regarded as
Beast.
the best player. I think he is on Indiana. It's arguable between him and Siakam, but I think today he's
the engine.
He gets that engine going. You know what I'm saying?
Also, some of these guys, it would be Haliburton and the would you rather, depending on the team that I have to.
Yeah, you're right. Like, I'm not doing it for Jamal Murray, but I think it's comparable on who's a better player because one guy constantly makes all-star teams and one guy can't sniff it.
I think he averages 7-8 more points. It's a big,
It's a big
scoring,
difference.
bro. It's
Denver's not even looking at that. Denver's not even looking at that trade.
Yeah.
Denver's
No,
not even looking at it.
absolutely not. No.
Atlanta is not looking at that trade.
No, they're not.
No, sir.
There's actually no argument
Yeah.
for Tyrese being better than Trae Young.
Yeah.
There's zero. He does nothing better on the basketball court.
Nope.
So I do want to talk about a couple other things here, boys. So there's always this thing on the internet that's called, weird behavior by certain fans. And things that fans talk about that's just really weird, and they go to the ends of ends, and they go on top of these hills and they argue till they're blue in the face on certain things, and it's just weird behavior by fans. And there was one thing that came to my mind, right? Like, for example, today we had a game 7 that came and went, right? And one player played very, very well in SGA, and we had I wouldn't say Joker played bad. He just left a lot of meat on the bone, right?
I thought he played bad.
It was a
taken.
disappointing game by him. And I could come here on this camera today and I can say Joker is overrated. Joker is officially out of my top 5. Joker should never have won an MVP. Joker's not on the same, level as some of these great players. And I bet you all these people online, they would agree with me and they would click on it, right? And they would love it. But the weird behavior fans have and the nostalgia these fans have about certain players. Like right now, if we talk about a guy like Steve Nash and we criticize his game, or we talk about a guy like AI and we criticize his game, or a guy like T-Mac, or a guy like Melo, and we criticize them and we put context around their games and say, yeah, if Steve Nash was in today's game, he wouldn't be a top 10 player because he wasn't back then, or arguably wasn't. Or if we bring up Melo and say now the wings these days, they do scoring and more, which would mean they do more than him. Fans go crazy about this. They go absolutely crazy about this. They go to, like, they stand on top of these hills and they argue until they're blue in the face around this. And it's just weird. The nostalgia about some of these players is really weird. You guys agree on some of this stuff?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I'm right there with you. You know how much I hate nostalgia when it comes to sports, bro. Can't stand it.
It's so
Especially
weird.
sports.
Yeah. I don't like revisionist history. And I also don't like the other side of it where people jump on the newest thing like it's the best thing since sliced bread. I had a whole rant about this very recently. I think it's two things. I think one, a lot of the older players, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, they had the privilege of playing without social media. That's, I think, what it is now, where everybody has a voice, everybody has an opinion, you hear everything. Because I'm sure there were guys that were like, man, this Kobe Bryant guy sucks in 2002. The problem is they didn't have an outlet to say it out loud, and they didn't have 1 million clicks, and they didn't have 3,000 likes on that video. You know what I mean? It's that, and the second thing is we just romanticize things to make ourselves feel better about things that have passed. So someone like Dirk, for example, which we're going to talk about championship runs. Someone like Dirk is one of those guys where you're not allowed to touch him now. You're not allowed to touch him. Okay, I mean, he had one of the great, maybe the all-time greatest championship run in NBA history. He also lost to an 8th seed. He also blew a 2-0 series lead in the finals to a lesser team.
Everybody forgets how disappointing he was before the championship run.
He was a choke. He was considered a choke artist. And we always remember their greatest moments. And like when you sit there and compare someone like Jokic, for example, to Dirk. Some guys in the past would be like, no, are you serious? Dirk did this, that. Cool, bro. That's because you're trying to take Jokic at his worst, what he's doing now in year 9, and you're trying to compare it to the pinnacle peak of what Dirk accomplished in his career. You're trying to take his absolute best accomplishment, and now you're trying to grade everything to that accomplishment from these new guys without looking at it as a total career. What they did in totality, what they're doing now, bro. That's a lot of it is that, to be honest with you.
What's even worse is I love when people try to add elements to these players' games that never even existed 10 years ago. Like you bring up a guy like Steve Nash, they'll try to say, well, no, that guy would have played like Steph Curry right now. He would have shot a lot more threes. But what somebody wouldn't bring up is, okay, so what is Steve Nash automatically going to become this great isolation player in today's game when he never was even able to do it 10 years ago? Or if you bring up a guy like Melo, one of the best scoring, scores ever. Like when you talk, but now these days when you talk about these players, they're two-way now, man. They'll score as much as him, and you know what they will do? They will guard. They'll guard the other best player, and they'll rebound well for their positions.
And they'll be playmakers.
And they will be playmakers. And everybody will be like, well, he could have did that. No, we seen it.
He didn't want to do it.
He didn't want to do it. He didn't want to be a willing defender. He didn't want to be a playmaker.
It's just nostalgia, like you said. It's all nostalgia. They grew up. We all grew up on those players, and we see now like how good they are, and we have the luxury of watching how developed this league is and how developed these players are. It's nostalgia. That's all.
Also, most old heads don't watch the NBA anymore.
No.
But they still have an opinion on
They
the
just like hear about it. They don't
I know. Like, I guarantee you, if you ask old head, who do you think is better, Jason Tatum or Joe Johnson? They're going to tell you Joe Johnson is.
because they don't know who Jason Tatum is.
Because ISO Joe, and ISO Joe was a problem. He was a problem. Was he Jason Tatum? Was 18 point per game Joe Johnson Jason Tatum, bro?
No.
You know what I mean? Like,
No.
let's just be real about it. Let's be honest about it, bro.
It's just weird
just
behavior, man.
nostalgia, yeah.
It's
It's very
weird behavior. Again, we could put up a clip right now and I could trash Joker. Joker at his lowest is probably today. His lowest probably for the next 5 years will be today, coming off that bad game.
And you'll be okay.
And
People agree with you.
people will be like, "Yeah, man, you're right. He's not even on the same level." Let me talk about Steve Nash or about AI.
Tell him AI was a locker room problem in Denver. Say it. Tell him.
You know what they'll say?
See what's going to happen.
Remember in game 1 when he had that big game against the Lakers? How about
I mean, that was a pretty big game one.
it was no wait. It was historic.
Yeah.
But how about the next 10 years?
Yeah. No, I agree.
How about the next 10 years?
I agree. When he
you're
had
right.
when he had enough to win and he didn't.
Come on, man.
100%.
What are we talking about?
And plus,
All time great though.
All-time great. No disrespect to AI, but man, people come, they go, and sometimes there's just better people.
What do you think it is? What do you think the reason behind that is when people do that? It's just to feel better about.
You really want the
their
truth?
era?
Why? Okay, for example, a guy like Steve Nash or a guy like AI, when you ranked them then, they were one of the better players in the league. They were one of the better top 15 players in the league. You drop, or AI especially, like a guy like Allen Iverson,
No, he was a top 5 player in his prime
He was
all
a
the time.
top,
Absolutely.
right?
He was.
If you drop a guy like AI right now, I mean, you got to ask yourself, is SGA better than AI?
Yeah, he's better than Allen Iverson.
You know, I'm not even going to sit here and try to argue about
He's a more efficient scorer and he's a better defender.
and then he was a
individual
way
defender.
better defender, right?
I mean, Allen Iverson, was a great defender for his size, but like he's not SGA.
no.
I think Allen
And,
Iverson made a couple all defensive teams, like second or third. I believe he has a couple of steals titles. I'll tell you
And
that.
I will not even going to sit here and try to talk about Joker and Giannis. I'm sorry, I'm just not going to do that. So you go a guy who was arguably the best player in the league at that time, and then you drop him now, and he's not. It hurts their era of basketball.
But it's so weird because they're not taking the best guys. They're not arguing Tim Duncan and Kobe Bryant and Shaq.
I know.
They're arguing these weird guys that are like, yeah,
Like
they were great, but
like
they were always
Steve Nash. Like Steve Nash wasn't a top 10. Like people got mad when we said he wouldn't be a top 5 player in today's league, and when it's one of the most obvious things. Like that's not a hot take. That wasn't a hot take. That was just.
It's not a hot take to say Joel Embiid is better than Steve Nash.
You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't a hot take. I don't know. People can't. It makes their era of basketball look worse.
Yeah, but my era of basketball, this era of basketball, the 7th best player averages 30, 12, and 3 blocks a game on you guys, bro.
For the God's sakes, bro. For the longest time, we didn't have
Nash
Brunson in our
was
top
top
5.
15.
We don't have Brunson in our top 5.
I truly believe he would not have been a top 10 player in this league, bro. I said it and like we laughed a little bit. I truly.
No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't though. Like that's like
A lot of that though, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, man. I don't want to piss anybody off, man. But this is mostly because I'm in these trenches on Instagram. You know me. I'll get in the trenches and argue with people.
Yeah.
A lot of it is 90s babies though. A lot of it is 90s, early 2000s babies.
But we're 90s babies.
No. I'm talking about like guys who were like, mature enough to understand what was going on in the 90s and 2000s. So 80s babies.
Yeah.
That's where the majority of it comes from. If I'm just being real about it.
I
bro.
know.
Guys who were like 15 during Mike and like 25 during Steve Nash. That's where it comes from, bro. Yeah. The majority of it.
We watch the game from a different lens than these guys too. We analyze everything.
No, we
about
watch
it.
the game.
We watch. I understand.
They don't watch
That's
the
why
game.
they don't watch the game, but we watch it too. Like we add context to everything.
No, we watch the game. They don't watch the game.
The older Swade, no, you gotta like understand. Like I was telling him like a week ago, like about the whole Michael Jordan and the whole LeBron thing, and I'm just like, I real talk don't think. So when Michael Jordan was at his pinnacle, how old were we?
We weren't born yet.
Okay. Most of those guys that were watching Michael Jordan at his pinnacle are now like in their 40s,
Some of them 50s.
pushing 50s. I'll tell you, you want to know how I know? Because my uncles watched Michael Jordan and Magic, right? They're all pushing 50 at this point. Most of those dudes ain't watching basketball day in and day out. They just don't, because either they're like, they don't want to give that up and they say basketball sucks now, or they just don't have the time to do it. Like, so they'll give opinions on stuff that they don't even watch. Like, they just don't watch it. No,
Yeah.
I'm dead
No, they don't
serious.
watch the
I'm not
game.
trying to talk shit. Like,
They generally don't watch the game.
they don't. It's not like football, man. Football, when you were 20, people still watch football till they're 40.
Yeah.
Football is just more popular. It's why the ratings are the way they are.
And there's still some nostalgia on football too.
Yeah, there is.
It's across the board.
But nostalgia is not as bad.
In basketball, it's pretty bad,
It's
bro.
horrible.
In basketball, it's pretty
like
bad.
nobody will sit here and try to convince me in football that freaking
Phillip Rivers.
like somebody's not gonna try to sit here and try to convince me that Phillip Rivers would be a
Bad.
top 5. He would be a bad man. And like if I would say he wouldn't be a top 5 quarterback in today's game because Phillip Rivers arguably wasn't even during his time
Right.
top 5, and people wouldn't come after me online for saying that. But man, you talk about Steve Nash just because he won a few cupcake MVPs.
Say they were real MVPs. Say they were. That doesn't put someone in the top 5.
Okay, let's compare his MVP seasons versus every other MVP season. That's what I would say. They're not cupcake, but they were underwhelming MVPs compared to other MVP winners.
Go recent. Go Shea. Right
Bro,
now.
Shea to Joker.
Kobe
triple-
deserved it in 06 and LeBron deserved it in 07, man.
Jesus Christ.
For just being real about
Just
it.
nostalgia. That's all it is.
It is. It's big nostalgia. But they got to stop doing it.
Last week, we had talked about a couple of the most impressive championship runs. I wanted to ask you guys, what are some of the most notable championship runs in your guys' head? Some of the most impressive championship runs.
So number one automatically comes with Dirk in 2011 in mind, automatically for me. And the next one, because I'm a little biased, but the 2016 championship run from LeBron. Those are like the two that I remember. One that's super, super underrated is the 06 Dwayne Wade one.
Who did he go against?
I don't remember, but I'm in the finals. The guy averaged 36 a game. I think he went through Detroit.
He beat Detroit, yeah.
Somebody has to fact check me.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he went through that Detroit
Yeah, he
team.
did. I remember that.
And then he beat Dirk in the NBA Finals against a team that was heavily favored in Dallas and beat him in 6. He averaged 36 a game, bro. One of the best I can remember. When I think of championship runs, I always think of finals. How'd you do in the finals? That's where my mind always goes, bro. It doesn't think like, who'd you play in the first round? Because I really don't give a damn, bro, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I care about when it mattered the most, who were like the best guys you were playing at the end. So it has to be that, bro.
Bro, I think the most impressive championship run, though, if we're just talking about players, it has to be Dirk's, man.
Yeah.
It has to be Dirk. So who did he go through that year? He went through Kobe. He went through Durant and Westbrook. And then he went through LeBron and D. Wade. All pretty much in their primes, if not a little bit after their primes. I don't know if any other championship run stacks up to that. Just
There
the
isn't one.
players.
Jason Terry was the second best player. There isn't one.
Yeah,
that was the
that's
best
by far and away the most impressive one.
And he was unstoppable in the whole playoffs.
Yeah.
He was the reason and the only reason they were winning those games.
Now, people will try to forget that was a very complete team, though. They
They were well rounded.
They had the
balanced.
defensive player of the year. I think Jason Terry was the sixth man of the year that year.
They were balanced.
They were very balanced.
But Dirk was.
Yes.
It was
Yeah.
It was all
yeah.
Dirk.
I'm trying to think, man. One of my favorite ones, I think Kobe one year went through.
Gauntlets.
He went through the Suns. So he went through Nash and Amari. He went through Melo and
Denver.
in Denver, and then that was the year that he beat. Was
Magic.
that the year that he beat Dwight?
I believe, yeah.
And then the
09.
next year, I think he almost damn near did the same thing against the same people.
Yeah.
Dirk's has to be the best one, though.
Dirk's is the best one. Because
That's
like when
the
you
best
look at Kobe's, like that was probably the best roster in the league at that point, that Lakers team. So like
Yeah.
that Dallas team was far from the best roster in the NBA.
Do you remember when somebody we knew was like, "Hey, it's gonna be Dallas won the championship"? I was like, "Bro, who? Who?" Granted, LeBron
It was
James.
very lucky. It was a very
Yes,
lucky call.
it was very.
Miami
$100.
Heat one was the Bulls in the first round, the Nets in the second round, the Pistons in the semifinals. I mean, in the East
Yeah,
Conference
man,
finals.
that's yeah.
It's a pretty nice one.
then,
That was a
That
young
sounds
D
wild.
Wade though.
That was a Ben Wallace Pistons, by the way.
Yeah, that was. I think that was the last run the
Yeah, it
Pistons
was.
ever
It
had.
was
That was a young D Wade. D Wade probably wasn't even 25 yet.
I think he averaged like 36 or 34. It's one of the two in the NBA Finals. It was 34 or 36, bro.
Who?
D Wade.
Speaking
bro.
of a guy
It was
that used to beat up on D Wade a ton,
He didn't beat up on
he,
D Wade.
Come
on.
He used to beat
Look
up
at
on
me.
D Wade.
Look at me very carefully. Nobody's ever beat up on D Wade. Nobody has beat up on D Wade. No, just in general. Yeah.
27, 7, and 6.
The finals, not the playoffs. You guys always give me playoffs. The finals.
Anyways, you've been talking about all week. You wanted to say something about Kobe Bryant to me, my favorite player. What do you got to say, man?
There is something that's bothered me that I've been seeing online. What's up?
No, go ahead. Yeah.
There's something that I've been seeing online a lot that's bothered me. I'm a huge LeBron fan, bro. I'm the biggest LeBron fan you'll ever meet. I think he's the greatest of all time. And I think if you don't believe so, there's 4 walls in every room you're in. Take one and bang your head in it until you figure it out. That's for me, right? I'm seeing a lot of lists recently. A lot of lists. From a lot of reputable people, from a lot of entertainment people. And they are genuinely, with a straight face, leaving Kobe Bryant out of their top 10 list. Genuinely. They have him out of their top 10. Let me ask you guys a question. What's the point of basketball? What's the point of it? It's to score the ball and to defend someone from trying to score it. It's to score a basket and try to stop somebody else from scoring their basket. So right now, we have a guy like Kobe Bryant. 5 NBA championships, 2 finals MVPs, an MVP, 2 scoring titles, 12-time all defense, 9-time all first defense, all NBA first team defense, 9 times. So we have one of the best scorers ever and one of the best perimeter defenders ever. So you're telling me that a top 3 two-way player in NBA history at the perimeter position, I argue top 2, isn't a top 10 player ever? In what way? In what way? He's tied Kareem in finals MVPs. He's tied Kareem in scoring titles. He has more all-defensive teams than Kareem, and he has more all-NBA first team over Kareem. And he averages more points and more assists than Kareem does for his career. So you're telling me one guy who's arguably a better offensive weapon and who was a better defender for his position in his time, but one guy you guys put him at second or first over Mike and LeBron sometimes, and the other guy you have him at 12? How? If we look at the players they played with, because everybody brings up the Shaq thing. And yes, guys, Shaq elevated Kobe's career. We understand this, bro. It's simple basketball knowledge. You have a guy who averages 35 and 15 in the finals on your team, you're going to win some championships. Okay. But then after he left, in that 3-year run, where Kobe Bryant faced nothing but 50-win teams, where he played nothing but 50-win teams, and was going through gauntlets, and won 2 championships, as the man on his squad, and was averaging 34 in the NBA Finals against the best defensive team in the Orlando Magic at that point. How is that guy out of the top 10, bro? How is Larry Bird better than Kobe Bryant, bro? If I'm a better scorer and defender than you, how are you better than me? How?
Not at all.
How are you better than me? So we're playing basketball. You say, which one do we take? You know what? I'm going to go with the better rebounder. Excuse me? Excuse me, bro? Am I tripping?
No.
Am
I tripping, bro?
No.
Because to me, if we're just being real, and I don't want to get disrespectful on this pod, Michael Jordan just looks like he's going to be on NBC. And there's rumors come out now that Michael Jordan wants to come on here to dispel some of the nostalgia from the 90s, to start giving respect to some of these players today. Yes, because he doesn't like some of the narratives around the 90s.
I can't wait.
Versus here. Can I ask you a question, bro? Real talk. Just real. I don't want to get too nerdy. In the 90s, there was an illegal defense scheme. You had to double someone. You couldn't shade. You couldn't guard an area because you were scared they were going to get there first. You either had to stick on your man if he's on the other side of the court, or you had to send the full double. Kobe Bryant averaged 35 points in 05 and 06 against double teams and against zone defenses. Can I ask you a question? If you couldn't shade Kobe Bryant, bro, and you had to either send a full double or you had to play him one-on-one, which Michael Jordan ended up playing a lot of one-on-ones for that reason. What does Kobe average, bro?
40.
What does he average?
40.
In a modern era.
And if you did
in a modern era. And then he was the best defensive guard in the league. You're telling me a guy who's the best scorer and the best defender in his league on the perimeter isn't a top 10 player of all time, bro? What basketball are we watching? And what basketball are we talking about, bro? How? In what way, bro? You're telling me right now, even if you want to think as simple as ones, let's run me some ones. You really, in your heart of hearts, believe if Kobe and Mike line up one-on-one, you think Mike is going to dust them? You're nuts. You're nuts.
You're on my
You're nuts when he gave him 55 when he was in Washington. 55. Let's say Mike was a 75% of the player he was. That's 40 on Mike's head. No, bro. Don't want to hear it. If you don't have Kobe Bryant in your top 10 list, I'm not talking basketball with you, bro.
That's actually crazy.
I'll give you my 2.5 cents. I'm gonna talk for less than a minute. People that don't have Kobe in their top 10 is because they're a casual. They discredit his career, never talk about him as what he is as a defender. And then when they talk about his time with Shaq, everybody wants to discredit what he did with Shaq. Because if you go look at every one of those playoff runs, he was, yes, again, Shaq was averaging what he was averaging, but Kobe was also by far, he was the second best player on the court, scoring-wise and defending-wise. Just how it comes down to. So they'll discredit his time with Shaq and say that he didn't do anything. That means they never looked at what he did with Shaq. They discredit him as a two-way player. They never look to see what he did on the defensive end. And they never look at what he did when he was the man on the team.
I mean, bro, if the guy went to 3 straight NBA championships and won 2, and he has an MVP under his belt, that's a top 10 resume. Even if you take out the Shaq 3, that's a top 10 resume. So that's a top 10. The guy has 33,000, 34,000 points, bro.
Petty. It's
12 All-NBA defensive teams. 12
I didn't know that.
12 of them. He averages more points, assists, and steals than Kareem for their career, bro.
Wow.
I want to make that clear. Crystal clear. And before you tell me Shaq carried him, I got you. I'm not going to argue with you on that part, that he was by far the man and that engine went as Shaq went. I'm not going to argue with you on that. But, bro, Kareem won 6, and he has 2 finals MVPs out of him. This is a guy, and I use Kareem not because I'm trying to shit on Kareem, but this is a guy that people have in their top 3 consistently.
Even Magic.
You have that guy top 3.
How many finals MVPs does Magic have?
3.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
100%.
Here's another thing, and this is the last.
Yeah, you don't need to put him
Yeah,
top 3.
I know.
But not top 10.
That's all I'm
top
gonna say.
10?
I have my top 5.
Holy
All I'm gonna
shit,
say
bro.
is for every person that talks about him being carried by Shaq, yes, he was carried by Shaq. The guy averaged 40 in the finals, but your favorite player was going to be carried also if he played on that same team.
The reason they bring up Shaq is because it elevated his career.
He was
it elevated his career.
If anything, he was going to score the ball more.
It elevated his career that he played with Shaq.
Yes,
and downgraded
it did.
But like people look at it as like, oh, it downgraded.
He still had a whole other career.
But even if you believe it downgraded it, even if we just look at his last, let's say Kobe Bryant got drafted in 04. In 03, that's when his career started, and he retired in 2016. That 13-year span is a top 10 player of all time, bro. Timmy.
If you don't have Kobe in your top 10, you're either a hater or you're a casual.
And you don't know basketball.
Don't say he's LeBron and Mike, bro.
I hope you're a hater because if you just don't have Kobe in your top 10, that means you don't know what you're talking about.
LeBron and Mike are the 2 greatest players ever, and there's kind of a gap till 3. But from 3 on, nobody's safe from Kobe Bryant, bro. Yeah. Sorry.
All right, let's shift off basketball, boys. As every episode, we're going to have a little bit of football. Every week, it'll grow a little bit more because we're going to get closer and closer and closer. I do want to talk about your favorite quarterback, Mr.
Stop calling him.
I'm going to get people to believe it.
Stop calling him.
I'm going to get people to believe it. We're going to talk about Caleb Williams. So this week, this was always kind of like a widely known thing, but there was a book that came out about Caleb's like draft process and about when he was going into NFL. And it's now noted that he was heavily, and his family was heavily doing everything they possibly can in their power not to get drafted by the Chicago Bears. They were going even a way of maybe getting signed by the UFL, right? Like he did not want to go to Chicago Bears. He actually wanted to go play with the Vikings because he loves their coach. So, because Kevin McConnell we all know he's a quarterback whisperer. I wanted to ask you guys, do you guys have a problem with Caleb Williams trying to avoid the Chicago Bears?
Yes, absolutely.
Why?
If I'm projected to go number 1, not even projected, if I'm like guaranteed to go number 1, I want to go into quote unquote a horrible organization, horrible coaching staff, horrible everything for the most part, and turn it around. I don't want to go to a place where I know this guy or I know that guy or I know this guy. No. I want to go mark my name in that team and show everybody what I'm made of. I want to be that guy to turn that team around. That's who I want to be. Absolutely, I have a problem. And plus, you don't get the luxury of going number one like that. You can't just like dismiss it. You're going number one, and you're gonna do something good. You're gonna do something special if you are what they say they are, which I don't think he is. Well, we'll see this year.
How about you? You got a problem with
I
it?
think if I'm a player, I would try to do it myself. Because you'd want, individually, you'd want to be put in the best situation possible. Sometimes the best situation, most of the time, isn't first overall. But as a league, and as a ripple effect, it would be terrible for sports if that started happening. For guys who are 20 years old, ears still smelling like Similac, don't know their head from their ass, and wanting to decide their future in the NFL and where they want to end up, we're treading some very dangerous waters, bro.
I'm asking more, does it change your view of Caleb
Just
Williams?
Caleb?
Yeah, does it change your view on him that he tried to avoid the Bears?
No, because, I mean, he always looked to me like a prima donna, like those types of guys that wants everything their way. I mean, that's what I always thought he was. Like, he was like, how do I say? He was box office.
He was rich before he
was
came
box
to
office, and he wanted to remain box office. So, I mean, it doesn't surprise me with Caleb. But, yeah, no, it doesn't change my mind on Caleb.
It doesn't bother me at all that he tried to avoid the Chicago Bears. And I'll tell you why, because Chicago's known historically not to get good quarterback play. Whether it's from coaching, whether it's the weather, whatever it is. But in the social media era that we're in right now, if a rookie quarterback does not come in and do very well right off the bat, we automatically look at him as a bust. Especially with quarterbacks playing well early now, with guys like Stroud, guys like Jaden Daniels, right? So I look at it as if I'm Caleb, and I know the Chicago Bears have one of the worst coaching, one of the worst offensive schemes. Yeah, I'm doing everything in my power to avoid that if I was him also. I just stand because I look at it like this. I don't know if Patrick Mahomes landed in with the Kansas City Chiefs if he is where he is today. If he didn't go through some bumps early, and maybe we would have started talking a lot of different. I don't know if Lamar Jackson ends up with Baltimore in the beginning, a great organization who has a history of winning and has a history of doing things, if he would have started off as great as he did, right? What if those guys would have went to the Browns, who never have a good quarterback that goes right? What if you go to the Jacksonville, right, where you don't go to a foundation, an organization that supports you? And like, look how it is. Like, real talk, if Caleb goes through another bad year, we have to look at it and be like, bro, was this guy overhyped? Is he somewhat of a bust? I don't know about you guys, but we look at Trevor Lawrence like he's a bust already. And I would tell you guys, if anything, the Jaguars are the worst of the worst with organizations. They're just bad, right? They just are. And we look at it. What if Trevor Lawrence would have came up with, I don't know, what if he would have started with Andy Reid? Or what if he would have started in an organization like Baltimore? I would argue, I don't think he'd be the best quarterback in the freaking league, but I would argue he had a little bit more success because there's more organization structure. My overall point is that, and now these days, if you don't come off starting off really hot and you don't have team success really fast, you're viewed as a bust really quick. So I think that's how Caleb was looking at it. Like, I don't want to go there. Nobody has gone there and done good. I get your point, though. Because sometimes you got to be that dog that goes in there and does it. But we know how situational quarterback play can be.
You're treading some very dangerous waters by allowing that, bro.
You can look at it like
You're
Jaden.
Or similarly, what just happened to Shador.
Yes.
Very similarly, you're treading some very dangerous waters, bro.
I'm
if
just-
you're allowing kids to decide instead of teams picking what they need for their roster, allowing kids to decide where they want to
Oh,
go.
no, I
'cause it fits
never,
them, bro.
ever think anybody should ever decide.
But that's what he was doing.
That's what you're trying to do.
I was more just looking at it like, do you view him differently because of it?
Yeah.
Like, do you think he's weak because of that?
Oh, I think he's weak, but I never thought he was like this tough macho
Yeah.
guy that was like, man, I want to be the best ever. Like, I never looked at him like
that
that.
just shows that you don't have confidence in yourself to pull a team around or pull an organization around. You don't have no confidence.
Yeah.
You can't like Jaden went to a even horrible organization.
The only thing I would say about the Jaden situation is it was brand new ownership, brand new coaching staff.
That's even worse.
Well, no, Washington was always viewed because of Snyder. right? So they had new blood going there. If it was bad again, then yeah, we would give them that. But it was
The devil you don't know.
Yeah.
is worse than the
They
devil
made a
you know,
defensive
brother.
coordinator and Dan Quinn their coach, and look what they did.
no, I know. I 100% get it. But Chicago has long-standingly I don't remember like the last good quarterback. The last good one was Jay Cutler.
Yeah, but Chicago has nothing to do with the fact that he threw the most worst bad balls in the league. Of
course.
And that he was one of the most
I agree with
inaccurate
you.
on the run last year.
He
These are
has
things that
some
have nothing to do
major
with
he has
Chicago.
some major pressure on him this year. He has what we all think is a really good head coach. He's got an offensive line. There ain't no excuses.
First overall picks make more money than the 35th overall pick, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
you
sir.
want the money with no repercussions.
Yes, sir.
And you want to decide where to go. And no,
Yes, sir.
It's dangerous waters, bro.
Speaking of money, contracts, your boy Brock Purdy finally got his contract. We're not going to spend too much on Brock Purdy because I just don't really think it's that much worth it. But Brock Purdy, he didn't get the highest paid. I'll give him that at least. He didn't ask for the highest paid contract in the league.
Just more like Lamar. And
You know, those boys are all going to be getting some pay raises.
That's gonna be
Yeah. He got like 53 million, and I think the way it's adjusted is like 45. He got a pretty hefty contract. I think
Crazy
that.
contract.
Yeah, but
good for Brock.
yeah, good for Brock. He got his money. They're all getting it. He's might as well go get it, and I don't care. It just make it deflates one more team in the road to the Super Bowl. But I wanted to do a would you rather with Brock Purdy, so we could. I have some interesting ones on here for you guys.
Let's go.
We're gonna do a would you rather Brock Purdy edition. Kyler Murray.
I'm going Kyler.
I'm going Kyler.
Today I'm going Brock Purdy because I know that Brock Purdy could play within a system and he can make a little bit of a deep playoff today. But Kyler Murray could change my mind in one more year. Baker Mayfield.
Baker.
Baker.
That's not even a discussion. Baker freaking Mayfield, man. One of the better quarterbacks in the league. Jalen Hurts.
I'm going Jalen Hurts.
I'm going Jalen Hurts.
I'm also going Jalen Hurts. Yeah. No, we're going Jalen Hurts. Tua or Brock Purdy.
That's a good one. I'm going Brock. Just based off of health.
I'm
Yeah.
going Brock because I get a little bit of mobility from Brock. I get a little bit more mobility than I do with Tua.
The health is the biggest thing for him. I'm gonna go with Brock on that one. But I think they're the same quarterback though. I just want to make that clear.
Stroud or Brock.
Ooh. Come on, guys.
I'm going CJ.
Guys, come on.
I'm going CJ.
I'm going
CJ Stroud.
Yeah,
Come on.
CJ. Dak or Brock.
I'm going
Guys,
Dak.
come on.
Keem,
Guys, come on.
brother.
Guys, come on.
Yeah,
going
Dak.
This is Dak Prescott.
All right, I got one for you. Darnold or Brock Purdy.
I'm going Brock.
That is a good one.
That is a great one.
I'm going Brock because I at least know in a big game that he's not going to freaking fall apart like I seen with Sam Darnold.
Be the worst quarterback probably in NFL history
Yeah.
for a game. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, like Sam.
I'll go Brock as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Brock. I had to give Brock that one at least.
But
He shows up in big games at least. Like he has showed up in big games. And Darnold I think we all thought was a pretty good roster with the Vikings last year.
Darnold was damn near was MVP.
Until it mattered, and then he
and
was
yeah,
the
exactly.
LVP.
And then he single-handedly lost Minnesota the game.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah, Brock. The answer is Brock on this
yeah,
one.
Brock is
Yeah,
it.
Brock. I'll take Brock.
The answer is Brock. Purdy.
I cannot wait for football, man.
Football's
I
coming, baby.
cannot wait for football, brother.
Man, next time we shoot, probably about a week from right now, we'll
Yes.
probably be in the middle of each of the finals, Eastern and Western Conference finals.
Hopefully, we're predicting the finals.
You know, and man, we could all come on here and be like we were wrong.
Yeah.
On both.
Yeah.
On both, because
Oh no, man! I have my picks. You guys can follow me or not. I have the
I'm a
Knicks.
follow.
I have the Knicks and the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Oh, then I'm not following him. I'm going Knicks OKC.
I think I'm going Knicks OKC. We'll see when we come
We'll
back.
see.
Thank
I
you
got a
so
question for you before we go.
Oh,
What's up?
I got a question for you.
What's up?
$10 million on the line.
Yes.
You got to hit a free throw.
Yes.
You make it, you win $10 million.
Yes.
You miss it, you go to jail for a year. You taking the free throw or no?
No, I'm not taking the free throw.
Ah, you taking the free throw?
what happens if I miss?
Free throw. You make it, you win $10 million. You miss it, you go to jail for a year. You taking the free throw?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you taking the free
I'm
throw?
staying away from it with a 100-foot pole.
Yeah, honestly, bro.
I know.
You're gonna lose a year.
I don't want to say only a year, but it's only a year. Compared to the.
You're 30.
I know. I'm exactly.
Bro, you weigh like $160.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben ain't gonna be great to you, brother.
Yeah, no,
I promise
I'm
you
gonna
that.
go. I'm gonna take the shot because the risk is definitely worth
Actually,
You're too pretty to go to jail, man.
I was a pretty good.
You're a
free-
liar.
I was a good pretty good
You're a
free
liar.
throw shooter.
No, you're a liar.
No, wait,
you're a liar.
it. What?
You are a liar.
By the way, I'm not sitting here saying because my free throw abilities are freaking great. We were probably the same percentage in high school.
That's what I'm saying for a big man.
But
yeah.
I'm taking even if I'm Shaq, who was 50%, I'm taking that 10
Welcome
mil.
to the basement, boys. We're comparing ourselves to Shaquille O'Neal.
No, hey, 10.
You should just put shit.
No, but I'm saying even if I'm Shaq,
Okay.
who shoots 50%,
Yeah.
and they said, hey, you can get $100 million and take these, but if you got to go to jail for 1 year, yeah, bro, he should take it too, even if he has a 50-50 shot.
Shaq? Yeah, I'm sure Shaq is going to take it because
Yeah.
he's going to probably make it.
Yeah,
We're
he's-
talking about us.
I'm
Hey,
doing
we're
it.
pretty good free throw
I'm
shooters.
doing it.
man.
You're a liar.
No,
Why?
we're bad.
No.
You're lying.
I haven't been to.
You're a liar.
They're not
Oh,
going to-
no,
You're a
why?
liar.
Listen,
when was
I
the last time you
haven't-
shot at basketball?
Me?
Yeah, like an actual basketball.
Honestly?
Yeah.
Probably a good like 5+
Yeah,
years.
you're cooked.
I'm doing
I
it.
mean, no, I can, bro. I have
A
I
1
have my-
year.
Get used to canned beans from now, cuz.
Petty, 1 year? Yeah, man, it's only, it's,
You guys are talking like 1 year ain't nothing. 1 year.
yeah, I'm only 30.
Let me put you in Wayne County jail for 3 days. See what happens to you. See
I'll
if
be
you don't
fine.
start shitting yourself.
I know
After
folks
3
out there.
days. See if you don't start shitting
AC,
yourself.
There's AC if it's -5 degrees in jail. I'm telling you.
I
Right
know-
now.
You can shit on a metal toilet.
I know.
Tripping.
I know.
Oh,
for
baby, you
life-
couldn't even shit on my toilet. You gonna?
I know folks out there. I'll be fine.
Yeah. Shaq, do we take the shot or no, man? Let us know. I'm not taking it. I'm staying away from it.
Really?
Freedom?
Now listen. Now, like I'm saying this now with confidence, but at that free throw line, if they told me, I don't know if I'm even gonna get that.
Hold
shot.
up.
Yeah, but they put the bag in front of you though. You see 10 million.
Hey,
in
what
clear case,
gym am
though.
I in? Where am I in?
Oh no, we can't. Listen, bro, you're any gym you
A
want.
D1 college gym.
Any
You're
gym.
in-
by myself?
Duke, home
I'm by
at Duke.
myself?
No, the fans are there. You have to take a free
Oh
throw.
no! Oh,
$10
I'm not
million.
taking that shit. Hell no!
I'm doing it.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
No,
You're a liar.
No,
You're
you're
a liar.
a liar.
He's a liar.
You're a liar.
You're lying through your teeth.
You're a liar.
You're lying through your teeth. If there was the case was the clear case was
Hold
there
up.
with 10 million
Let me tell you
cash,
why.
and then the cop is there waiting with his handcuffs like this. You're not taking
You
it. bro.
can't spend an hour in a car ride. You're gonna go to jail.
He's the least one that's gonna
Hey.
take it.
Yeah,
He's
he's
too
not
pretty.
Hey, you know
for
what's
jail.
happening?
He's not.
I'm banging that shit and I'm throwing the ball at the cop's
Keep,
face.
I love you as your brother. I'm gonna tell you this. You're way too soft for jail.
I'm
bro.
doing it. I know. Whoa,
You get a manicure like every month. You're gonna go to
I'm
jail.
softer than tissue, bro.
You're not
But
doing
I'll
it.
be in jail.
No.
You're not
Yeah,
doing it.
Who said I'm going to jail? I'm banging that thing.
You ain't banging shit.
Thank you for watching.
Shut
Thank
us
you
up.
so much. You guys let us know, what would you do? Would you take the shot or no? But thank you so much for the support. We appreciate everything. Keep on hitting that like button, that subscribe button, the comment button, everything, baby.
Dun, 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 dun,
Let's
dun,
go.
dun, dun.